Welcome to the Business Thruple podcast, where we talk about what it takes to build a global business.
I'm Al.
I'm Jasmine Cherie.
And I'm Jamey. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Business Thruple podcast. We're here today. We're really super duper excited with Kayla Dawson. She is our brand new brand licensee for the Green Rebellion in Brisbane. Welcome, Kayla.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
So pre-frame, Kayla is a little bit nervous. We've told her that she doesn't need to be a star. She can just sit there and be herself.
Thank you.
I'm curious to know, can you share a little bit about your story? Like, where did you come from? How did you get here?
It's been a journey, that is for sure. I mean, everyone, has got a story to tell, but the last few years it's been a bit of a roller coaster. 2018, I had my little girl, Ivy. She's a beautiful, beautiful little girl. Love her to bits. And, within a few months, relationship of nearly 10 years started going, quite bad. We just sort of went our own ways, and, it was time for us to part ways, close to our 10-year anniversary. And Ivy wasn't even quite one. She was 11 months old. And from that, you can only imagine being with someone for 10 years and thinking that's who you're going to be with forever. My whole life was turned upside down.
Wasn't 2019, was it?
It literally was 2019.
Oh, that was my It's like the year of Carly fire and destruction, 2019.
No joke, that year was horrendous. So I separated with my partner, Ivy's dad, and not long after I lost my nan, and that was really out of the blue, and she was my best friend.
I'm tears are welling up in my eyes already.
I'll be there in a minute. And 2 weeks after, we lost my pa, and I was in a very dark place. They were my best friends. So from that, life was upside down. We sold our house, our family home that we built, and then COVID hit.
What were you doing in that time financially to support yourself? Were you working, or were you?
Yeah, I was. I was still going to work. I was working in a government job, which I was very grateful for, actually, because we could do shifts later at night and I wasn't missing time with Ivy. I was showing up to work and I was a mess. My team leader knew I was a mess, but I was still going and I was getting the work done, but it was hard. I'd show up to everything. A lot of people didn't actually even know what was going on. We didn't tell anyone. We had separated for quite a while.
Yeah.
Played the happy families for a long time. But I'm grateful for that job, that I didn't miss that time with Ivy, but I was in limbo back and forth from my mum and dad's to my hometown. I was all over the shop. I was in a very dark place. And then from that, I'm very grateful for COVID. Believe it or not, I know it was a horrible time, but I had time to stop and pause and actually just work on myself, feel what needed to be felt and heal. And I did so much work on myself during that period.
This is why I'm really grateful for you being on the team, like that mentality that we talk about. When I talk about this non-victim mentality and the people that we're after.
Yeah.
And you got that, you've got rest of the world's like, fuck you, COVID. And you're like, actually, it's a gift. And that's what I feel like too.
It truly was. I had time to stop and reflect and work on all the shit I needed to work on. And not just that, giving me and my ex that time to work on this co-parenting. And we've mastered that now. We are amazing.
They actually live together.
We live together. Believe it or not, funny story. I'm living in
your ex.
I'm living in his garage.
Oh, my God.
I've done a full circle. We're not together, but, I've had to get out of my other living arrangement, and he said, look, you're not going to be out on the ground. You come and stay with me. And, so me and Ivy are living with him, and it's working fantastically. We've got a great relationship. We're good friends. It's funny how 5 years later we've done this full circle, living in another state because we're from Victoria originally. Both moved up to Queensland, and
I have so much respect for people who can go through separation after relating, especially when children are involved. And I think more and more, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who just part ways and never want to speak to each other again and want to burn each other's houses down and stuff like that. But that's a nice way of putting it. But more and more I'm seeing people like actually work things out. And doesn't mean that they have to get back together, but they're co-parenting and they're actually coexisting in this life together. Do you know, and I have so much respect for stories like that. So woman to woman, kudos to you.
Thank you.
And like, yeah, it's I think it's extraordinary to be able to do that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it wasn't always easy at the start, and I could have been pretty sour, but there's no point, you know, like I've always had that positive mentality of I'll try and draw on the positives always. And, you know, I look at what we've built now for ourselves and Ivy, and it's a beautiful life. And, yeah, I'm actually grateful for all that heartbreak and those hardships, because I think from that's where I've got my hunger. You know, you got to grow through what you go through, and I 100% have. And yeah, and now I'm here sitting on this couch.
So how did you guys meet?
Kayla and I knew each other like from our network marketing days. So
I met you in the toilet.
Yeah, so, but no, we weren't. No, I'm not doing that. Things in the toilet.
No, sorry.
Straighty 180.
Yeah,
no. So that entrepreneur spark all those years ago, we went, let's do network marketing. And that's all. I love network marketing. Hate it now, but, you know, I love it for it opens up that entrepreneur spark in a lot of people. For me, you know, I'd always had this dream of wanting more and being an entrepreneur. And for me, it was like that stepping stone.
Absolutely.
And you and I are so much alike.
I do see a lot in us that is very similar. Yeah, which is scary.
So are you still doing the network marketing now, or have you stepped away from that?
No, I stepped away from that, yeah.
Okay. And so you contacted Jamey in the last couple of months, and you're when we started talking about brand licensees. So where you're at now, so you're living in Brisbane.
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast based.
You're Gold Coast based,
Yeah.
that's right, sorry. And you've got your own already established cleaning business.
Yeah.
So you got some street cred, you got some skin in the game already in the cleaning industry.
She's got her stripes.
I've definitely got my stripes.
You're with Al. Like he when we first started the Green Rebellion, and you know, not like same as you know, you started your cleaning business probably about around the same time that we started the Green Rebellion.
Yeah.
I saw Kayla online, we kind of support each other in this little bit. Hey, we're both starting cleaning businesses, and saw this amazing opportunity. So Al was out on the ground. He was our cleaner on the ground where we were developing the system. So you guys, you guys get it
We got the street cred.
I absolutely get it. It is hard work. Like, business is not easy when you're on the ground and you're working your guts out. And
Yep.
I mean, as a cleaner, you know, I could do a 10-hour bond clean on my own. So like I 100% get it. I've been doing that for the last 16 months. So when we moved up, I didn't initially start the business. I was still working in my government job, and we ended up in a caravan full-time for 4 months, me and Ivy, at another crossroad. You know, that was probably the best time in her life. She absolutely loved it.
Oh.
But for me, it was a really hard pill to swallow, because I felt like I was failing as a parent. And I thought, you know what, enough is enough. Like, I have to do something. I always knew there was something more out there for me. And then that's where my cleaning business was created. And then now
What made you get into your cleaning business?
a beautiful friend of mine, Maddie, down in Melbourne, has a cleaning business.
Yeah.
And I did some casual work for her. And I've always found cleaning really therapeutic. I've always loved it. I'm a clean freak. And then I'd go down to Melbourne and clean with her. And she was actually one of the ones that mentioned it to me. And she's like, Kayla, why don't you do this? Like, she goes, I have absolutely 100% faith in you that you will kill it. She's like, there's no doubt in my mind. And honestly, it was her that she was making me do things so outside my comfort zone. Like, before I even had equipment, products, anything, she's making me put the word out there for clients. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't do that. I haven't even got a vacuum cleaner yet. She's like, well, you'll get one. You'll get one tomorrow. And it was her that pushed me into starting this and, you know, being in the van and...
Yep.
Yeah.
So just talking into that a little bit, so obviously you're already in the game, you're already cleaning. What is it and how have we sort of helped you to fill that space now where you've come in as a brand licensee, and how you see that we can actually help you create your own space now with us?
Yeah, well, massively, because I'm burnt out for one. I've been doing the hard yards for the last 16 months, and I've always had a bigger vision, than
Yeah,
what I'm
that's what I
doing.
was going to ask. When you were first on the ground, did you see cleaning as just cash flow, or you saw it as the opportunity and where the market is?
A massive opportunity,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. There's so much opportunity out here. And you get people saying, oh, there's so many cleaners and this and that. Look at where we live, look at the amount of work that is out there for a cleaner. There's such a high demand.
Yeah, and like you look at population size and population density around Australia, it's massive.
It's
But it's not
huge.
even Australia, as we've got our
Worldwide,
brand
yeah.
licensees coming in, what we see in Australia is this big gap that we saw within the market. It's worldwide.
Yeah, it really is.
So going back to Al's question, why did you choose to become a Green Rebellion brand licensee?
So I was at another crossroad, and
Us full of fucking crossroads,
no,
isn't it?
isn't it funny? In the ex's garage, a lot had been happening. I'd been following your launch really closely, and as soon as you had announced it, I was on the phone to Maddie, and I was like, "Oh my God, you need to get on and have a look at this. This business model is amazing." I was burnt out. I was looking for more in my business, but a single mum, just doing the daily grind, I didn't have the resources, the mental capacity to get my business off the ground. I seen an opportunity with you guys that was incredible. It aligned with me, the eco-friendly business. That to me is huge. I've also lost my part to asbestos-related cancer. So when I seen the reason for you starting your business, that really hit a sore point for me. And yeah, I just seen how your business was growing, and I just thought I want to be a part of that. It really just aligned with my value.
I asked this question very cautiously and respectfully,
Yeah.
because I don't want to sound. Yes, I'm just going to say it. Which part of your life, when you were looking at this opportunity, did you go? So was it? You've got too many cleans, and or too many clients. Was it the not coping, being single mum? Was it the back end of your business? What was it that was kind of the tipping point for you?
Or D, all of the above.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
the
yeah.
above. I'd be out there doing a whole day clean, 2 bond cleans a day, a lot of the time as well. I'd get home, I've got a little girl that's full of energy, and, my phone's not stopping. The work does not stop. It's constant. Not only was my body, starting to give up on me, but I was mentally exhausted. It was just, it's not sustainable for me to keep doing what I was doing in my business without getting the help in. And I just thought, what?
really
The
capped.
time is now. Yeah, it just couldn't have happened at a better time, to be honest. Yeah. So
Did you feel like
I,
you would?
I speak to a lot of cleaners every day. I'm always talking to cleaners, and some of them will say to me, why would I come over and do X, Y, Z when, I can go and work for myself. I can make $45 an hour. Why would I worry about tapping into that? But the thing that they don't think about, right, is they go home and they do another 4 hours work at home. You're not getting paid for that.
absolutely.
So while you might be on
not.
the books at $45 an hour, when you spread that out over the whole day, you're on $20 an hour.
That's exactly right.
And you're completely responsible for it all.
And I think you guys are in the nitty gritty, and you talk to the cleaners, but a lot of what of the talking I do is our brand licensees coming on. And we do have a lot of brand licensees that already have their own established cleaning businesses. Some of them are sole traders, feeling the same thing as you. And some of them have got really established businesses with contractors. And I reckon I've had a good, 5 or 10 people say to me now that are looking at us that have existing cleaning businesses, and they're like, I have been thinking about putting together what you have been thinking about for years, like the app that we're developing, the training course, all the gaps that I saw in the market. A lot of people are seeing it. And the difference between, I think, where we're at, where you're at, you can't go and develop it when you're in the job, doing the do. There's no time and space to be able to do that. So, we had the time and space, we created it. And and you would know too, for what a brand licensee pays to come in and access our setup as a brand licensee, it's probably about quarter of the price as what you would pay to set, or probably less than what you would pay to set it up yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. And that was exactly right what you just said. I didn't have the space to go out and create what you've created. I'd get home, I'd be brain dead, I'd be exhausted, like, and I'd be up till still midnight on my phone every night, sometimes
Sending
1 o'clock.
invoices out, making sure
Quoting
people
jobs,
have paid, quoting
invoicing,
jobs,
like my brain could not switch off.
answering messages,
Yeah.
and then customer complaints, and
Yeah.
there's a whole side of a cleaning business. It's not just going in and getting, going in and getting the cleans done. It's actually like the back end of our business.
It is, yeah.
And this is a lot like to go a little bit off subject, but a lot like when Jamie and yourself were in network marketing too. Like Jamie would wake up first thing in the morning, she'd be on the phone from 7 a.m. till 7 o'clock at night. And then like you get these sales in between, but then when you spread that out over the amount of time that you're actually spending to get that through, like you've got to add it all up together.
It's systems, right? And there's so many opportunities out there in the world that we can tap into and leverage. But unless you've got the systems to support you to be able to make the most of your time to keep growing and moving, you're pretty much fucked. You will get to burnout stage.
Yeah.
And today we have all the systems available to us. Like there's more than enough out there.
You see that happening with a lot of cleaners, they don't hang around for that long, they're out there. I've speak to a lot of agents that I do a lot of my work for, and they're like, number one, we can't find a good cleaner. They're hard to come across. Number two, they're in business for such a small period of time and then they're absolutely burnt out that they physically can't do it any longer.
Because the industry's getting overlooked, and that's what I saw. And when we were putting the data and the numbers and everything together, and what I could clearly see, and like what you saw when you looked at that numbers, when you chose to come on as a brand licensee, it is a massive fucking industry that's growing by 6% every year. But people aren't looking at it as the opportunity for it. Like there were so many gaps, and it was so old school where it's just like, get customer, turn up with mop and bucket, not the systems and everything in place to be able to tap into that massive market where there was a gap and the processes to put it together. And I know there is some companies that have done a little bit of what we've done, like they might have developed like a training program or an onboarding program, but no other company on this planet, and I don't say this lightly because I've done my research, has done half of what we've done with the Green Rebellion.
And what we plan to do too.
And
yeah.
where we're going and what we plan to do. And now that you're like in the business, I'd like to...
She's in and she's arrived. I'm like, and here she is.
Oh, and like breath of fresh air. Like Kayla is just like, she doesn't officially launch Brisbane until October and is already like just doing such an amazing job, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all our brand licensees that, I had this big vision of what I could create. I could clearly see the gaps, but it's what I was saying to you before we hit, play. It takes fucking courage. We've got big plans. We know where we're going and we're taking the steps, but it takes courage to say yes to something that is a startup business. So I'm really grateful for everybody that's doing that.
How are you, Kayla, how are you going, like, in the world of, I know was the MLM, there is a difference between MLM and network marketing.
I don't think so.
Oh, wasn't there?
No.
Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay.
I think you're thinking about affiliate marketing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, sorry. Well, whenever you were doing the network whatever it is, was that your first sort of time in business when you were doing that, and then you went into cleaning?
I only really dabbled in that, to be honest.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've worked many different jobs. I've always been very career driven, but that was always that sort of in between thing. So,
rightio.
Yeah.
So, and then your cleaning business, was that your first time as a businesswoman?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how the cleaning industry is like, you get your stripes, like we're talking about in a cleaning business, because there's what people don't realize, that you have to wear so many hats in the industry. So there's so many skill sets that you have to grow to run a profitable business from that very start. So I talk about digging your trench, right?
Yep.
And dig your trench, and entrepreneurship is the best personal...
In my dreams, I've got my bobcat and I'm digging my trench.
Yeah.
Got my little...
She's not digging it by hand. She's like, I'm using my tools, baby. But like, I'd go to far as to say, like, I know I love the cleaning industry. I might be a bit biased, but it's probably one of the best fucking industries to grow your entrepreneur backbone, because you've got to wear so many hats.
You do, yeah. You literally not only on the ground cleaning and running the business, but, you've also got your socials and your marketing and all these things that, you're doing, your invoicing, your quoting.
And your customer service. You got to
All
be
while-
nice to people.
All whilst
You got to be nice to people. Like,
All whilst juggling children and life and
Yeah.
but burn out. Like
Yeah.
this is like the big gap that I saw within the industry at the very start, right? Was one, you either got a solo cleaner that is struggling to wear all the hats and they're not getting paid their worth because the industry hadn't caught up with inflation and what people are actually worth.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was a big gap. And just people burn out and like showing up to jobs and doing a half-assed job. And it's not because they want to do a half-assed job. They're just actually burnt out.
right. And they don't have the time or the capacity to be doing all the things that, plus the cleans, plus the kids, plus the school drop-offs, plus managing previous relationships, plus keeping your own house clean, plus the marketing, plus the accounting, plus the
Breathing.
breathing, plus the customer service. Like,
But I think and so this is where I saw the next bit, right? So people get to that point and they're like, oh, I need help. So they'll start to bring on employees or subcontractors. And that's a whole nother,
That's another
fucking
ball game.
basket of problems.
Now you're responsible for more people.
Starting to get up to that point where you were thinking that you would have to start like outsourcing and seeing the problems
I had a couple of subcontractors, and one in particular, beautiful girl, and it's funny how she actually phoned me and we just hit it off straight away, and I knew from the get-go she would eventually branch out and start her own business because it was like another me. I thought, how have I found her straight away? Like,
she
this
needs
is
to buy a
amazing.
brand license.
I know. And she is the most.
you never miss an opportunity, do you, Jamie? You're fucking good for
You didn't chuck the free steak knives in, though. That's usually my job.
She's.
love that about you.
I love
Let's
that.
get her on the phone.
Let's get her on now. Come on, call her up. We'll do all.
She's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then, I supported her in her business, in her launching that, and she's doing amazing. And then from there, I had a couple of little casual people come in and work, but they also went and off and did their own thing. And that's as far as I got with it because it was just hard keeping them.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like the industry, what the cleaning industry is known as the biggest roadblocks is finding cleaners. That is the biggest roadblock. So that's what with putting our system together, they come like it's like here's the course, come in, do the course, pay the subscription, we'll do all the things. People are like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not like chasing the wrong kind of people, I think, like within the cleaning industry, because it's got this stigma like, oh, fuck cleaning. Like, we get, a lot of people that are looking for that quick cash, don't really want to work. They'll go to the cleaning industry. What we've done is eliminated that riffraff.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people like that were in Kayla's situation before, not saying that that's what happened to you, but like they're so desperate to get other people to come in and help them. They're not means testing the people that they're bringing in.
Yeah.
They're just like,
yeah.
fuck, and I need help.
Showing up.
I need help now, which is what we're doing now. We're means testing people by getting them to come in through our training.
And that's all it is. The paying for the course, it's not like, oh, fucking... It's
We're actually not doing it for the money.
No.
Like we're not like charging for the training because we need the money or we're tight for money. It's actually like you've got to come through the training, and if you can't be disciplined to go through the training and pay for the training, then we're not a free service where you can just access our business. So it is definitely means testing a lot of the riffraff out of like, if you're fucking serious about this, then you have to come through this pathway.
And what excites you most about that? Like starting in Brisbane, what's the most exciting part for you? All of it.
All of the above. Once again, it's just a whole new playing field for me. Number one, I've got all those resources and that to just hit the ground running, which really excites me because I did things the hard way in my business. I didn't have a lot of that stuff. I just see so much opportunity down there, and there's so much growth down there as well.
Or even like, I think bringing the, like, you're already looking at securing contracts, right? And as a solo cleaner thinking about securing contracts, you would have been like, how the fuck would I actually do that?
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it, when you think of that?
No, it's not funny. I think it's fucking glorious. There's nothing funny about it. I think it's good business to do that.
And
it's smart business.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is like looking at our numbers, right? So for potential brand licensees, they get our pack and our targets of what we expect them to make in the first month. 2 months and whatever, and looking at those numbers based on what you could accomplish as a solo cleaner, like, did that blow you out of the water?
100%. Yeah, it really did. Like, there's no way I could have done anything like what you've created on my own. Like, you are a boss, honestly. Like, you are. You play it down, but you're incredible. And the ideas that you have around business and how business minded you are, like, I look up to all three of you. I sit there and I listen to these episodes on a weekly, and I am mind blown every time I listen to one.
But I'm going to bring it around a little bit to the conversation that we were having before. I'm like, you don't realize the inspiration that you are by somebody by just simply stepping up and taking a step and going, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And you are that for people now, like how many cleaners are out there, or, it doesn't even have to be people like running a cleaning business. How many people are single mums or, going through what you've gone through, and you sharing your story? It's that 4-minute mile and that permission slip to just go, oh, Kayla can do it. Jazz can do it. Al can do it. Jamey can do it. I'm like no different to anybody else other than I took a fucking step.
And continue.
In a wheelchair.
You took a step in a wheelchair. You kind of hobbled down the hallway, then sat down.
First I arched, give me the computer out. I'll dissipate this cleaning
We
business.
can launch this business in 3 weeks, Al.
And look at what you created from a wheelchair.
Right?
Like, honestly.
Oh, but that's
amazing.
That's like, if I can be anything in this world, I'm not money driven as everybody that will start to. I know I say that, and a lot of people go, but if you say that all the time, you must really want the money, I actually fucking don't. And people don't realize until they start actually working with me and being in my space. Like, she's actually does I probably do need to start doing things a little bit more for the money. But for me, it's like, it always comes back to every breath is closer to our fucking last. What are you going to do with them? What the fuck are you going to do with them? Are you going to sit around burnt out with your mop and bucket? Or are you going to find a better way so that you can actually live a life of fucking freedom?
And one thing we talk about a lot too is the contributionism, right? Like, if we can help you get on your feet more, you can start running your own successful business. That's us helping even more.
Oh, that's what I want to ask you. How do you feel about our giving back program?
I think it's beautiful. You know what I love, and this is where this really aligned with me, this purpose-driven company, I think it is amazing that you're doing that. That hit a sore point for me, giving back to those in need. Beautiful. Say no more. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. It is.
Do you have a particular niche of businesses or not class, people in the community that you want to give back to? Like Gold Coast, you guys are, and it doesn't have to stay fixed, but one of the things that you've spoken about is currently to date, cancer. People are patients who are going through cancer. You go in, and so for me, my initial give back program is going to be for women's homes, women's refuges and homes in Sydney. Don't want to talk too much about that because I will cry, but I've got a real heart for that. Do you have you given much thought to that? And we're not going to.
I have a little, and you're going to make me cry because I've been through the ringer, and I would love nothing more to give back to those women in need as well, because I've been there.
Everybody's crying but Al today.
Where are your tears? But I think that's beautiful, is to give back to those in need and those that are struggling. And I see a lot of it that are struggling with mental health, and they cannot keep on top of those tasks, and they're in a rut, they're in a real rut, and they're living in squalor. And I've seen people, they're so embarrassed to even post on socials that they're needing help, but I would love nothing more to go to those homes and help them out. Yeah,
I've seen that firsthand, mate. How much of a difference that makes, just going out and helping someone actually have a clean space that they can live in. When they're trying to manage everything, then the last thing that they actually have time to is keep their home and their environment clean. So it is a massive help.
And before we go, how does it feel to have a non-for-profit?
It feels amazing. I'm learning all this new stuff about it that I didn't even know, and I think it's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
I've loved supporting you through that as well. And I think that it just creates that a new sense of freedom for yourself in your business. It's like one less thing to do, I mean, you'll probably still have to register for GST for the amount of money that you're going to be earning, but, not having to submit annual tax returns, not paying income tax as a non-profit, and we still get to continue to do what we do, build a commercially profitable business, and that makes a difference in the world. It contributes to Brisbane, which is the society that, you're going to be running your business in.
What a dream.
Before we go,
What a dream.
Before we go, in the mic, what would you like to say to anybody that is looking at the Green Rebellion and coming on as a potential brand licensee?
Oh, jump on board. Honestly, jump on board the movement, because it's beautiful what you guys are creating, the vision that you have, long term as well. Why wouldn't you want to come in and work for a company like you guys? For all those that are out there struggling to wear all the hats, to come in and go to your job and do your clean and then go home, switch off, be present with your family. I think there's nothing more beautiful than that. So,
And how have you found the process?
oh, easy. I feel so supported with you guys.
I have this
We love you.
I have this saying when somebody says easy, it's easy as shitting in bed and kicking it out with your foot. Would you say it's that easy?
It's that easy.
That's not a mental picture you really want to paint.
Thanks, Kayla.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
How scary was your first podcast?
It was actually not that bad.
Yeah.
No, it's just like a conversation.
We'll have
We
you
did
back.
not drink tequila before recording this.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
We'll see you on the next episode.
And if you'd like to find out more, click on the links below and reach out. If you're interested in becoming a brand licensee, reach out to myself, Jamey, or Al, and let's have a powerful conversation about what's possible in the cleaning industry.
Uru.
Ciao.
Hooroo.
She's going to be an Uru girl like me.